Has this ever happened to you? You eat a donut and get a sugar rush, a strong feeling of excitement and energy, only to collapse an hour later with a headache?
Food affects us more than we realize, and that's because what we eat alters our brain chemistry, changing our mood and emotions. Our brain is working 24 hours a day, even while we sleep. So it needs more fuel than other body parts.
So, can we eat our way to feeling happy? In this program, we'll be discussing the relationship between food and the brain. And, as usual, we'll be learning some useful new vocabulary as well.
Sounds great, Georgie. But first, I have a question for you. Humans with an average brain weighing 1.5 kilos are one of the cleverest animals. But which mammal has the biggest brain? Is it A, an African elephant, B, a dolphin, or C, a sperm whale?
I think it's an African elephant.
Okay, Georgie, I'll reveal the answer later in the program. Now, did you know that despite making up only 2% of our total weight, our brain uses 20% of the body's energy? Nutritionist Dr. Rita Achari does. She thinks we should be specifically eating for our brains, as she explained to BBC World Service programme The Food Chain.
Eating every day, right? And eating a balanced diet so you get the full complement of vitamins and minerals is critical. If you go low in something in one day, if you just, don't eat any protein for a day, or for me in my situation, if I don't eat any vegetables, I know the next day I'm not as sharp.
Number 1 on Dr. Achari's list of brain foods is a regular and balanced diet. A diet containing the proper types and amounts of food needed to stay healthy. Remember the rainbow rule: eat foods of many different colours with lots of leafy greens.
A balanced diet also includes different types of nutrients, vitamins, fibre, protein, and so on. But including these isn't always possible. You might go low on, meaning have very little of, one food type. Dr. Achari says that when this happens to her, she's not as sharp, as intelligent and quick to notice things as usual.
Dr. Achari names lots of different foods which help boost our brains, from wild-caught Alaskan salmon and avocado to berries and walnuts.
But hang on, Georgie. Wild-caught Alaskan salmon. Very nice and very expensive. It sounds like these superfoods are just for the super rich.
Well, not according to blogger Michelle Munt. Here she is telling BBC World Service's The Food Chain how eating well needn't cost a fortune.
It's not expensive, and everyone's got a freezer these days, so yes, you can batch cook things, freeze them, and then use them in like a week's time or something. So I think the problem is that, again, it's about our lifestyles. It's about the fact that we feel like we've got limited time, and therefore people are trying to cut the time down in the kitchen by cooking things that are pre-made, or even worse, we're just chucking it in the microwave. But actually, you can do fresh food in 20 minutes flat.
Michelle's idea for brain food on a budget involves batch cooking. Batch cooking means cooking a lot of food at one time, then saving some to eat later. usually by freezing it.
Although microwave-ready meals are convenient, they lack many nutrients needed by the brain. Luckily, adding some fresh vegetables to batch-cooked food means anyone can make a brain-healthy meal quickly, or in 20 minutes flat, as Michelle says, using the word flat to mean exactly and to emphasize that it can be done quickly.
Okay, so we need balanced diets and batch cooking for big brains. Now, let's test your brain, Georgie, with my question.
Right, you asked which mammal has the biggest brain, and I guessed it was an African elephant.
Which was the wrong answer, I'm afraid. In fact, the biggest brain belongs to the sperm whale, weighing about 8 kilos, and the sperm whale's main food? Fish.
Okay, let's recap the vocabulary we've learned in this program, starting with sugar rush. Suddenly feeling excited and full of energy after eating food which contains a lot of sugar.
A balanced diet includes the correct combinations of food needed to stay healthy.
If you go low on something, you have very little of it.
If you describe someone as sharp, you mean they're intelligent and quick to react to things.
Batch cooking means cooking a lot of food at the same time and saving some for later.
And finally, doing something in 20 minutes flat means 20 minutes exactly and is used to emphasize that it's done very quickly. Once again, our 6 minutes are up. Have fun cooking up your own brain-boosting breakfasts, and remember to join us again next time here at 6 Minute English. Goodbye for now.
Bye!
Hello, this is 6 Minute English. I'm Neil.
And I'm Beth. Smell-o-vision, a television which allows you to smell things as well as see them, and a miracle pill which cures all diseases. These predictions for the future were made in the 1930s, but so far they haven't come true.
Making predictions for the future isn't easy. Just ask tech billionaire Elon Musk, who recently predicted that artificial intelligence will eventually mean that no one will have to work. In fact, there have been many predictions about the future of work. For example, that robots will take over most jobs and that everyone will work from home.
During COVID, one of these predictions came true. Millions were forced to work from home. So, what will work be like in the future? That's what we'll be discussing in this program, and as usual, we'll be learning some useful new vocabulary too.
But first, I have a question for you, Beth. Another idea for the future is the 4-day working week, where employees work 4 days for the same money as 5. After COVID, many British companies gave the idea a go. But out of the 60 companies taking part in a 4-day working week trial in 2023, how many said they plan to continue with a shorter work week? Was it A, 52%, B, 72%, or C, 92%?
I guess 52% of the companies plan to continue with a 4-day week.
Okay, Beth, I'll reveal the answer later in the program. Now, whatever Elon Musk thinks, as we've seen, it's difficult to make your predictions accurate. Here's Sean Lay, presenter of BBC World Service programme The Real Story, asking University of Cambridge professor Brendan Birchall what he thinks about predictions for the future of work.
Brendan Birchall, when you look at all the predictions that have been made, certainly in your working lifetime, do you kind of take some of the things that are being predicted now with a large pinch of salt?
I do. I think we have to be skeptical. I think the track record for economists and other social scientists isn't good. When we look, for hundreds of years, 100 years now, people have been predicting that there'll be really quite dramatic reductions in working time, like Elon Musk has just made. And previously, those predictions, although we're heading very gradually in that direction, those predictions of very, very large changes in working time just haven't come to pass.
Sean asks if we should take predictions with a pinch of salt. To take something with a pinch of salt is an idiom meaning to doubt that what you've been told is accurate or likely to come true. For example, if your friend always lies, you take what they say with a pinch of salt.
Professor Birchall thinks predictions for the future of work have a bad track record. A track record means all the achievements or failures that someone has had in the past. When it comes to predicting the future of work, most predictions simply haven't come to pass. An old-fashioned way of saying happened or come true.
So, are predictions for a future of leisure, relaxing by the pool while robots do all the work, just a dream? Let's hear from Andrew Palmer, business editor for The Economist magazine, talking to BBC World Service programme The Real Story.
I'm not a tech dystopian. I don't think that machines or AI are going to get rid of all jobs, but I do worry about a sequencing risk. So there will be some disruption from AI. Some jobs, some professions are at risk. And although economists like to say new jobs will crop up, they won't necessarily be aligned at the same time. There won't be coordination.
Andrew is not a dystopian, someone who imagines a nightmarish future of suffering and injustice. He doesn't think AI will get rid of all jobs. To get rid of something means to remove it because you no longer want it.
Andrew predicts that AI will replace some jobs, and those workers will need support. But he also thinks new jobs will crop up. They will appear unexpectedly. And that's exactly the problem. The future is hard to predict because it's so unexpected. Anyway, I reckon a shorter working week is something we can all agree on, right, Neil?
Absolutely. I think it's time to reveal the answer to my question about the 60 companies trying out a shorter working week in 2023. I asked how many of them plan to continue a 4-day week at the end of the trials.
And I guessed 52%, so was I right?
That was the wrong answer, I'm afraid, Beth. Actually, a whopping 92% of the companies plan on keeping a 4-day week because it was so popular with bosses as well as workers. Right, let's recap the vocabulary we've learned from this program, starting with the idiom, take it with a pinch of salt, meaning don't completely believe what you are told is true.
A track record means the achievements or failures of someone's past performance.
Come to pass is an old-fashioned way of saying take place or happen.
A dystopian is someone who foresees a nightmarish future where there's great suffering and injustice in society.
If you get rid of something, you remove something that you no longer want.
And finally, if something crops up, it appears or happens unexpectedly. Once again, our 6 minutes are up. Join us again soon for more trending topics and useful vocabulary here at 6 Minute English. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.